Hello, welcome to January 2021 Craft Along. It's finally here. Hooray! Thank you so much for your patience with all of the Brexit and delivery UPS issues. I am truly grateful that you have hung on in there and you are going to get to do the class. So as always, there are 4 projects. We've got 3 cards and a 3D item. There will be a raffle, and I'm actually going to do that first, so that is sorted out and put to one side. I'm going to go through all of the kit, what's in the kit. Be careful when you are opening the kit, because there are some tiny ladybirds and some Velcro dots. You don't want to lose those by tipping the whole thing out, so go steady when you're opening your pack. If you've got any questions, please email me, amanda@inspiringinkin.com, or send me a message and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So I'm going to turn the camera around and let's get the raffle done, and then let's get crafting. So I have 6 raffle prizes. If you can just email me to let me know that you're a winner, that would be fabulous. So let's mix these up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the first one out is number 4, and number 4 is going to win this stamp set, which is called Heal Your Heart. I'm trying to find the end of my washi tape. Oh, there we go. So if you are a winner of number 4, let me know. The next ticket is number 16. And that person is going to win this stamp set, which is Corner Bouquet. I'll pop that there. The next one, number 13. That person is going to win this, which is sort of a double. It's the Berry Blessings stamp set and the paper pack that goes with it. The next one is number 25. They're going to win this stamp set, which is called Approaching Perfection. Then number 5, they are going to win Punch Party, which is another stamp set. And then finally number 30, and that person is going to win a set of these. Now you've actually got one of these in your kit. You've got an envelope and a card blank. These are the Dandy Garden Memories More cards and envelopes. There's 20 in a pack. So that is prize number 6. So let me just run through the numbers in order. So number 4, number 5, number 13, number 16, 25 and 30. So if you are a winner, please email me and let me know, and I will get your prize popped in the post for you. Okay, so let's have a look at the kit. Firstly, you have got a sample of these papers. So these are the Flower and Field designer series papers that are part of Celebration. They're free with a purchase only until the end of February. We're not using these for the project, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of a thank you. So you've got some of those. So we're not actually going to use these, so you can put those to one side. Then you should have a cello bag. You've got some circles, some dragonflies, some twine, 2 bits of Velcro and 3 little ladybirds. So like I said, don't lose those. You've then got a 1/4 of a pack of patterned paper. Now this is the Dandy Garden patterned paper. As you know from my love of dragonflies, I have been very, very excited to share this stack with you. I do want you to put a couple of the papers to one side because we will need those later. So this is the first one. It's got the big Calypso Coral and Blackberry Bliss dragonflies, so you need to put that to one side. You've got dandelions. This one you need to put to one side as well. Oh, let me just show you the back of that. That's spots. Got some flower heads. And this one as well. So that's got Mossy Meadow on the back. I'm just checking that I haven't got an extra pack, because sometimes my kit has more stuff in it, just because I've thrown my extras in. So let me just show you. So there's 3 there, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I've got way more. 10, 11, 12. Yeah, okay. So I've ended up with a double pack in my kit. You should have 12 sheets, which is really lovely paper. But you will put to one side the 3 that have the main dragonfly images on them, because they're what we're going to be using to embellish the cards. You've got a couple of envelopes. You've then got, this is one of the raffle prizes, so you've got the envelope and a matching card, and this is really lovely. It's pre-printed and it's a bit bigger than our standard sized card. Then you've got a couple of sheets of Misty Moonlight, some Mossy Meadow, a couple of sheets of white, and some Blackberry Bliss. Okay, so the first card is actually going to be using this, and I'm not going to make it. I'm going to show it to you, but I'm not going to make it because it's very, very straightforward, and I just want you to be able just to take your time. There's no measuring or anything. So let me get it out. So here you go. So what I've done on this card is I have used this paper, and I have fussy cut out this dragonfly and this dragonfly. Now you'll notice that this dragonfly is sort of like it's part of its wing is cut off here, and you'll be able to see here this wing is actually shorter than this wing, but unless somebody's actually mentioned it to you, you wouldn't notice. And I've cut along the dark lines, and I've just used glue on the bodies to pin it down. The lovely little ladybirds, I've found, let me just get one out to show you. I've found it's easiest to put them on with glue dots or little dimensionals. So hopefully the camera's going to be able to pick that up. It is hollow. So all I do if I'm using a glue dot is I just kind of roll up the glue dot and squish it. That's a technical term, squishing. Squish it into the body of the ladybird, and then you can just pin it down and it will just stick. You need something fairly heavy duty because they are made of metal, so you need to do that. So that is your card number 1. So very straightforward but works really well, and I love these printed cards. If you want a quick card, this is amazing. If you want to, obviously you can use the dragonflies that I've punched out here for you as well. We're actually not putting these on any of the projects. I have just punched these out just to show you the size of them. So this is the punch, just so that you can see them. So you can put these on any of your projects. We're not actually going to, they're not used for any specific project. Okay, so card number 1. That was quick, wasn't it? Right, so then card number 2 is this one. And this, let me just squash that down a bit. This is a style of card that I've been making quite a lot just recently. In my team Facebook group, we have people each week who share specific projects with us, and Rachel shared with us what's called a sketch, and basically it is, let me actually, I can draw the sketch for you. Let me show you. So basically what a sketch is, I'm saying I can, I'm rooting around for a pen. Yeah, I have got one. Basically what a sketch is it's a layout of a card and you just follow along. So what she did was she drew this sketch. And you can tell I'm a stamper, can't you? Because I can't actually draw. I'm just checking that that is in shot. Let me just bring that down a little bit. So basically you've got the card blank, which we've got. You've then got a layer, which is my patterned paper. This is crushed curry. You've then got another layer that's cut on an angle. You've got a banner, and she put a circle there, but I've put in the dragonfly. So a sketch is a great way of making lots of different cards quickly, because what you're actually doing is you're just following a pattern, and it will work with whatever embellishments and things that you have and papers that you have. Okay, so let's just flip that over, and I will I've got my pen. I will write down. So we've got the card blank, which is 5 3/4 inches by 8 inches, scored at 4 inches. You've got 5 1/2 by 3 3/4 inches white, and a patterned. So that's the white layer is for the inside. The patterned layer is this one here, which is the crushed curry. And then this next layer is 5 1/4 inches by 3 1/2 inches patterned paper. And then the white banner is 4 inches by, not sure, 3/4 of an inch. Okay, I'm going to move that out of the way because you don't need that. Right, so let's get my trimmer in and the card. So it's 5 3/4 inches. So as always, when I'm doing a craft along, I am going to cut everything for the project and then do the stamping and the sticking and so on. It's much easier to do that because then you can put your trimmer out of the way. Yeah, it's just easier. Okay, it would help you if you could see that piece. Let me move that out of the way. There you go. So you can see that and I can carry on cutting. Right, so let's find the right. Actually, I'm going to use that one this time. So if I just show you, that's you've got 2 of these that are crushed curry, and actually that is the reverse. So let's look. Well, you've got stripes, but no, I'm going to stay with those same colours. So I want patterned, so the crushed curry is 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. This one, just check it's the right way up. This 3 1/2 by 5 1/4, and we are going to cut this again in a second. And then the white layer is 5 1/2 by 3 3/4, and then we want the white banner, so we want a 3/4 of an inch strip. And that's, well, it's a little bit over 4 inches, but that won't matter because it's going to be trimmed anyway. Okay, so before I put the trimmer away, we need to cut this piece here. So I cut it very technically about a thumb's width from this left hand edge and cut it up towards the right. So all I did was I put that in, put my thumb there and cut it up on an angle. So I just put it in on an angle and cut it. There is no real right or wrong. So if you look at that, it's almost the same, but it's not quite. Just don't cut it too high up because you'll then not have enough space for this. Okay, so that's cut. So the last thing that we need to do is to cut the dragonfly. So that's going to be from this paper. Now you can, if you've got the dragonfly punch, you can use your dragonfly punch because, as I'll show you in a second, it will cut this out. But I'm going to fussy cut it. But if I just show you, hang on, if I just show you with this, that will go in and it will punch out your blue dragonfly there. Okay. But I'm going to fussy cut it because you won't all have the punch. Okay, I'm going to move that out of the way and just get on with this. So for this, I'm just leaving a little border all the way around. And then I will do my stamping for the card. And then it will be assembly. So again, this is quite a quick card, but it's a great way of using some of your patterned paper, and particularly because you're not actually seeing a huge amount of this piece here. So if you've got something that's quite a fussy paper, you can use it on there, and that it won't overwhelm the project. So this is the stamp set that matches the punch. I'm using For a True Friend here. Obviously you could use a birthday stamp, whatever you want really. And Blackberry Bliss ink. So I'm just going to stamp that and just give it a second to dry. The darker inks do tend just to take a little bit of extra time to dry, so I'll just put that to one side, or whilst I do my sticking. So we've got this pattern. Ooh. This is actually really strange. I am so used to now having to check on my iPad for your comments. It kind of feels a bit weird that you're not there. But you are, because obviously you're going to be watching this. You're going to be watching this on the video. But it is a bit strange. Because you can't ask me to slow down or anything. So, you know, at least you will be able to get me to pause. Right, I'm going to use this little strip that I chopped off. There's a little bit of an embellishment on the inside. And so this is going to go on here. But hopefully you can see I've actually sort of curved it round the paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is make this into a flag end. And we've got a punch. It's called the triple banner punch, or you can just do it the way I'm going to do it, which is snip it with some scissors. So you snip to the center and then cut the two edges. Now that is a little bit wonky, but it'll be fine. So I'm just positioning it where I want it, and then I'm just going to fold it over there, and then just use my thumb and finger and just curve that up a little bit. The same with the dragonfly. I put my nail where the body meets the wing and I'm lifting it up, and the same again on that side. So I'm just sort of positioning this just to make sure it's all going to work, which it is. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this side to pin that down. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue here as well. So it's stuck on both sides. It just kind of anchors it a bit better. So that's squashed there. And then we're just going to put the dragonfly on. And then I'm going to put this on the front of the card. So that is going to pop there. Okay, so that is your card, your second card done. I'll just move that one out of the way. Let me just pull in that, there are all the measurements again. Just so if you need to do a screenshot. Although all the measurements will be on the email anyway, so that's fine. And then again, that is the little sketch. And you'll see more of these over the coming weeks. I'm going to do a bit more on them. So that's good. So that is card number 2. So we will pop those there. So card number 3 is a TP fold card. And I showed you one that I received from the lovely Denise, and it was a Christmas card that she sent me. Now I have made TP cards a lot over the years, and I'm going to show you the one that Denise sent me and then the one that we're going to make. And I was intrigued because the way she's made it is slightly different to the way I make it, and it's actually easier. So I'm all for making things easier. So this is the one that Denise made for me. We are going to be making a rosette as well, because I thought that was a fab tip to show you. This is using the lovely snowflake paper. And then this is why I've got a Velcro dot, because that's how Denise fastened it, which was awesome. And it then folds flat, and it will go in the post. So when you send this to somebody, if you think they'll look at it and go, well, that's a bit of a strange card, you might want to put a little post-it note on which says, attach the 2 Velcro bits to make a pyramid or a triangle or that sort of thing. So that's Denise's card. And this is the one that we are going to be making. So again, fastened in exactly the same way with a little Velcro dot, and of course it folds flat for the post. But I'm really excited to share this with you. There is quite a bit of cutting, but not you know, a dreadful amount, but there is quite a lot of cutting. So just take your time to cut all of the pieces, because a lot of the pieces have to be cut in half diagonally. So yeah, so I'm going to take you through step by step, and I'll show you my templates. So let's see, are they in shot? So the way I've always made these is by using three triangles. Let's start again. The way I've always made them is using 3 squares. And you butt 2 up together like that, and then you put the third one over the top, and then you glue them all together, and so on. But Denise, genius, did it this way. So you've got a whole an oblong and then a square. Works so much better. You will need obviously your trimmer, but I really recommend that you also use a scoreboard. So this is the Simply Scored board, and I know you can score on a trimmer, but it's so much faster to do it here. Now I'm going to stand up actually to see if the camera can pick this up. Yeah, it's picking that up. So can you see on this 6-inch line here, I've got a darker line. I've used a Sharpie marker on that to make that darker, so that I can score on a diagonal, and it makes it so much easier. So if you've got one of these, do go and get a Sharpie marker and run it down that 6-inch line. Leave it to dry though, otherwise you'll get Sharpie marker all over your projects. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to get another piece of paper. That was a bit of a crash there, wasn't it? So I can write down these measurements for you as we go. So we are going to be using the Misty Moonlight card. And you need a piece that is, so I'm going to write Misty, and you're going to need a piece that is 8.5 inches by 4.25 inches, and a piece that is 4.25 inches by 4.25 inches. Now, this is why you have 2 pieces of cardstock, because our standard card is only 8.25 inches wide, and it's not going to fit. So that's why you've got 2 pieces. So you're going to cut it at 8.5 by 4.25. And then your other piece, you're going to cut at 4.25 inches square. Okay, so that's your first 2 pieces. Right, should be able to bring that arm back in now. So that's your main pieces of your cards. You then, in white, need to cut, let me see, 4 inch by 4 inch, and you need 2 of those. One, 2, you then need patterned paper. Now I have used the this one, so the leaves and the stripes. But by all means you can use different ones. You can go contrasting if that's what you want to do. I'm going to stick with these for now. So we want patterned, we want a 3 3/4 inch by 3 3/4 inch. So that is going to be these 2 pieces. And I'm just double checking with my list. Yeah, so okay, I'm going to just do that one for now. I'm going to come back to these pieces in a minute, because that's not on my list. So we'll just do this one for now. So that is 3 3/4 inch square. Okay. I'm just going to move that to one side, and I'm going to bring the template back in to sort of show you how the card is assembled. Kind of, it makes more sense once you've got the pieces. Aha, right, I remember now. Okay, so let's see. Am I in shot? Yeah. So You have got your card base and your square piece. You've got this piece, which is the patterned paper that we've cut and a white layer. So that matches there. This piece is going to be there, and then we need another piece here, another patterned piece here, and then we need these. So let's just work out what we need. So that patterned piece, so this patterned piece is a 4-inch square, which we're going to cut diagonally. And then this piece, we need to measure it. So it is 1.5. So then we want a white 1.5 inch, I'm assuming it's a square, yeah, by 1.5 inches, and then a patterned paper which will be 1.25 inches by 1.25 inches. Okay, so that's these pieces here. So let's just cut that as well, and then you'll have the full list. So we want 1.5 by 1.5. And then for this one, we want another patterned piece, which is 4 inches square. And we're actually only going to use half of that. And then a 1.25 inch square, which is quite little when you're cutting it. Whoa. There we go. Teeny. Okay. So I hope you are still with me with all of the pieces. I'm going to come back to making the rosette and all of this later. But we want to get the card base itself all assembled. Okay. So, let me pull that down. So on this template, this is how I've tried to break it down. So on these sections A here, we've got the white, which is 4.25, and we're going to cut that diagonally, and then patterned paper, which is 3 3/4, which we're going to cut diagonally, and they're going to sit on there. We've got this section, which is some patterned paper. We're going to cut that diagonally, and then we've got these little pieces at the bottom, which are going to be cut diagonally as well. So let's do the scoring and bring in the scoreboard. So the first thing we are going to do is score this at 4.25. So we're just scoring it in half. We're then going to score from that center point to the end and the center point to the end. So remember that dark line. What you want to do is put the very top of that score line onto that track, and I hold it down there with my ball tool, and then I lift up the card and I take the point and move it to the end of the track. Let me just pull that up a little bit so you can see. So I've pinned it at the top and the point is at the bottom of the track, and then I just score straight down. and then I do exactly the same there. And that is how you're getting your diagonal score lines. It just makes it so much easier. And then this piece is also scored diagonally as well. So we're going to get the bone folder and just give this a really good reinforcing. Because this card, in order for it to stand up, these score lines need to be really crisp. And that's what kind of gives it its strength and makes it sort of stand up. So what you'll find I'm doing is I'm reinforcing it one way and then I'm flipping it over and reinforcing the other way as well. And I do this with all kinds of fancy fold cards. It just really helps ensure that they stand the way that they should do. Okay, so that's actually going to stick on there. So now we've got to cut all of these into triangles. So as you can see, these are all cut and then stuck on. So we're going to cut everything into a triangle. You can use a pair of scissors. It's not always ideal because we tend to go a bit wibbly wobbly with a pair of scissors. If you've got a guillotine, obviously you can use that. You can, if you have a metal ruler and a craft knife, slice it that way. I'm going to use my paper trimmer, and I am going to just put in the same way that we did for the scoring, just put the points into the track. Now, because this is paper and because that point is really skinny, if you start away from that edge and slide down, you can end up rucking up the paper and tearing it. So my tip is to move your blade sort of part way down and then press it in so the blade actually stabs into the paper, and then slide up and slide down. That then means that you won't tear the paper. And it's really, really important to do that when you've got a teensy weensy little thing like that. Because that is tiny. And I do the same with the cardstock as well, although the card will actually sort of hold it steady a little bit anyway. You're better off just making sure that the blade sticks in where you need it to go. And let me move that along. And then one more. Ooh. Okay. Now, whilst I just think about it, your track for your trimmer will end up with little bits of fluff in it. It'll be paper and glue and all sorts of stuff. So you can use your pokey tool and just run gently. Depends how fine it is, but it will get out bits of fluff. Or one of the best things that I've found is to use a piece of cardstock, and you can just push all of the bits of fluff out. But don't, if you're using your pokey tool, just don't jab it in there, just be gentle. And you can see here on my trimmer, look, I've got all sorts of bits of glue on it. This needs a bit of a wash. Nothing feels sticky on here at the moment, but it's always a good idea just to give it a wipe over and get sort of the residue of any glue off there as well. Okay, so let's start sticking triangles together. So this one and this one are going together. Ooh, I missed cutting that one in half. I thought I'd missed one. There we go. There we go. Okay. Right, so let's stick these two together first. I've got glue all over me now. And that one. Okay, so this is the smaller patterned paper, and we're going to need one of the white triangles and one of the patterned triangles. So these two we don't need, and then we've got these as well to stick down. And then the card itself is pretty much sorted out. We just need to start sticking it together, which is very exciting. And then we'll do the rosette. Okay. So I'm going to bring this in again. This is the square. So the square is on the inside. And then when you flip it over, that's where all your decorating is. So we are going to stick this down, and as you can see, not all of it is stuck. So you've got this piece here that's not stuck down. So when you're putting the glue on, just make sure that you don't go sort of too far. Down into this section, and make sure that the edge is buttered up against that crease line. Doesn't want to go over the edge of the crease line. If it does, it won't sort of fold properly. Okay, so there you go. So that's the reverse. So now what we're going to do is stick everything down. So you've got your little triangles that are going there. If I bring in this section here is the front, and it's got its sort of pattern, matching pattern if you like, there. So that's these two. So they're going to go on here. And you can have lots of fun with this. I've kind of done it so that the papers are matching, but you don't need to. You can do all sorts of different patterns. It'll be very interesting to see all the variations. And then, so you'll be able to see that's there. So then this section is for writing on, and then that's your other patterned section there. It's going like that. And then if I just fold that over, you'll be able to see that this piece comes around over the stripy edge to there. And you might need to just encourage it a little bit. Goes over the stripy edge to there, and that is the front of your card. So we do need to put the Velcro dots on, so let me find those. And so on my card, the leaves are the top and the stripes are the base. So when you've got your Velcro dots here, they are self-adhesive. What you want to do is find the dot that has the spiky bits on it. Okay, so one bit spiky and one bit soft. So it's the spiky bits, and you're going to put the spiky bits onto the base bit of the card. Whenever you're putting Velcro on, the bit that lifts off is the soft piece, and the bit that is the base is the spiky bit. I'm not sure whether that's like really a thing, but that's how I've always done it. So I'm just going to take that off its backing and position this so I know ish where it needs to go with my thumb. I'm going to pop that down, and then I'm going to put the fluffy bit on the top and take off the backing so the adhesive bit is sort of exposed, and then bring the card round so it lines up exactly where I want it to go, and then give it a good press. And then what will happen is the dot will be exactly where it needs to be, and then your card is kind of stuck down. Okay, so all we need to do now is the embellishment. So we've got a happy birthday here, and I've done exactly the same. I've just cut a little banner exactly the same as I did on this card. So it's just a little bit narrower. I think it is 1/2 inch, and I'm looking on my desk for my ruler. You would think a 12-inch rule and you wouldn't be able to lose it, but I do every time. So it is, yeah, it's 1/2 inch. And I've just cut the end as I did before, and then I've cut this bit. I'm hoping the camera's going to be picking this up. I cut this bit on a diagonal so I could just sort of hide the edge, really, where that white piece is. So that's really straightforward. And that, if you haven't seen this one before, that is from Zany Zebras. It's this happy birthday here, which I use all the time. So we're going to make this embellishment piece now. It's called a rosette, and I need to get the paper out that I'm going to use. So let's see where it is. Got all the papers here. Yes, this one. Okay. Okay, so there's all the measurements. So we've now got the rosette. So you want 2 pieces that are 1 inch by 6 inches. and they're scored every 1/4 inch. So let's get the trim up. So you've got a 1 inch by 6 inch strip and a 1 inch by 6 inch strip. And you will also need your 2 circles. Ooh. And these are 1 1/4 inch circles. So we're going to score these strips every 1/4 inch. So it is much easier to do this with a scoreboard. And it'd be much easier to do it if I knew where my ball tool was there. Okay. So I'm just going to hold it down there. So you're going to score this every 1/4 inch. Now, if I'd been thinking about this quicker, I would have cut this as a 2 inch strip, scored it, and then cut it in half, because that's faster. But it's okay. I'm just going to have to score both of them. So it's a lot of scores. Okay. Right, so normally I'll talk to you about your bone folder, but these are really tiny score lines, so you will actually find it's easier to do this to begin with your fingers. Because you're just sort of encouraging it. Whoa. And we're going to do the same with this one. It's a bit fiddly, but just take your time and it will work out fine. So then give it a really good kind of squash with your fingers, because you want it quite springy. Sometimes they just sometimes they have a mind of their own and they just don't want to squish, but just give it a bit of encouragement and it should be okay. Now you need to join these together, and in order to do that you need it to follow the same line. So that one's kind of going up the mountain, so that actually needs to be down. So I'm going to have to now fold this the other way. But that's okay. It will work. concentrating, so I'm not talking. There we go. Right, give it a good squash. So what I mean is that piece there is actually going to stick to there. So then the pattern follows. So you just want to put a tiny bit of glue along there so that that can stick. And then once it's stuck, you can squish the concertina all the way up again. Like that, and give it a good squash. Now, if I bring in this one, you've got the Misty Moonlight circle on this side, and on the back, you've got the Calypso Coral for this side. So what we're actually going to do to start off with is to put some glue on this side, and we're going to stick this down. Now this is springy, and it will bedoing, for want of a technical term, all over the place. So you might need things to pin it down, like a punch or a bit of wood, pair of scissors, and the best thing that I've found is to either use seal or double-sided tape onto your circle, because the wet glue doesn't grab it fast enough. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to join this together. So because where we joined it at the other end, this will now join correctly at this end. So we're actually making a loop. So just give that a squash. And then the easiest way that I've found to do it is to get your fingers and kind of press it so it squashes down into the center. And then I kind of push it in so that you can see it kind of, it'll ping. But can you see that hole there in the center? What I'm actually doing is trying to make that hole as little as possible and kind of grab it and press it down onto that circle. And then I'm going to lift it up and kind of wiggle the paper around a bit and move that in as well. Okay, pin it down with your punch. Then I'm going to use wet glue and put that down over the top, and then that will hold it. And again, I am going to just press that down with my punch. Actually, let me just do it that way. It's probably better to use the flat side of the punch and just pin it down for a minute or two. And then all I have done on here is cut out another one of the dragonflies from the paper that I told you to put to one side. So that's this one here. Now let me just show you this as well. So on this paper you've got these teeny dragonflies, but then you've got like a medium-sized dragonfly, and this medium-sized dragonfly does actually punch out using that bit of the punch. When they designed the paper though, bizarrely, they didn't put the dragonfly straight like it is on the punch. So when you punch that one out, that blue one, can you see that yellow one's offset? So you need to make sure that you snip round that so that you can punch that out later. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the finished rosette. There you go, it's stuck down now. And so that will stick onto your card like so. And you're just going to put glue on half of it. And then obviously put your sentiment on, and you will end up with a card that looks like this. So I'm going to just show you the 3 cards, and then we will get on to the bag. Oh, let me just move those down a bit so you can see those. Okay. We are on to the final project now, which is a bag. I'm calling it a gemstone bag or a jewel bag because that's kind of the shape of it. That's kind of what it reminds me of. You are going to be using the Mossy Meadow card and the linen thread that you have. And I asked you to put this paper to one side, and that is what I've used for the front. So it looks quite complicated. Honestly, it isn't. It's just a little bit of extra scoring, and it's quite a big size inside. So let's have a look. It is, yeah, it's 5 3/4 inches tall, and then the base is 2 3/4 inches square, and then these bits press in and make this lovely shape. So let me bring in the template. This just takes 1 sheet of A4 cardstock. So we're going to get the Mossy Meadow card, and we're just going to cut it to the right size. Now it needs to be 11.5 by 8 1/4 inches. Now your A4 cardstock is 8 1/4 already, so you don't need to worry about that. But if you're cutting from a 12 by 12 sheet, obviously you need to cut it to 8 1/4. And then we're just going to cut this at 11.5. Okay, so you're just going to cut that tiny strip off. And then we'll get the scoreboard. The scoreboard's fallen apart on the floor. Just that back in. So we are scoring at 2 3/4 inches, 5.5, 8 and 11, and those are these long score lines. So we'll do that first. So 2 3/4, 5.5, 8 1/4 and 11, and then you're going to turn it and score it at 2 3/4 inches. Now in order to make this bit, we've got to do some additional scoring. Now the easiest way to do this is to use this central line again, but you do need to cut these pieces up first. Okay, so let's cut this up, and then I'm going to cut there and there and there, and then I am just going to fold all of those up and Reinforce those lines. There we go. Okay. I'm going to use the score tool again and put it at the top of that score line to here. And then the same going this way. And this is why it's important to cut these bits, because you can then fold that flap up and there. So basically you're putting a cross in, and then the same on here. Okay, now this is the only tricky bit, this score here. Now I've put the measurement there, so it's 4 1/8 and 9 5/8. So I've put those measurements there. So you can do that if you've got a scoreboard like this one and it's got the 8ths measurements in there. So it's the little line in between the 4 and the 4 1/4, and you can just score down. If you don't have that, then the easiest thing to do is just kind of gently go up from the center point and find a groove and then score down. And that's all you're going to need to do. That's all of your scoring. So we're going to do a lot of reinforcing, but we just want to cut the 2 paper panels. And those are 5 1/4 by 2 1/2. So let's get this lovely paper back out. So just check the orientation of your paper. You just want to make sure that it's portrait. And so you want 2 1/2 and 2 1/2. So that's those 2. And then this bag is almost done, which is fab really, because it's such an easy bag, but it's just really cool shape. So I've scored on those, or reinforced on those long diagonals. And then this little diagonal, if you squash it, you sort of squash it down like that, you can actually then get your bone folder in. Same with that one. Ooh. There we go. Okay, so that is going to stick on there. So that's going to be the inside. So we're going to put the patterned paper on these panels now. There we go. And then we're going to put glue on this little glue tab here and bring this over and press that down. It's always easier to put patterned paper onto your card, onto the cardstock when it's flat, or a box when it's flat. And then if you just give this a squish, you'll see that it's beginning to kind of hold its shape. And then you want to decide which is going to be the front. So for me, the seam, that's going to be the back. So this is going to be the front. So I'm going to flip it over. So I know that's the front. So that panel I want to stick down last. So I'm just going to fold these in. So I'm going to fold the two sides in first. Oh, no, actually I'm not. I'm going to fold the bottom in first. The back, should I say. Fold that one in. Ooh. Then that one. Then that one. And then finally this one. Doesn't really matter which order. And because it's got 4 pieces of cardstock stacked one on top of the other, it is pretty sturdy. Just put your hand inside just to press it all down. And then just squish it. And you need to get your hole punch. And obviously you can measure it if you want to. I'm just gonna wing it and get your lovely linen thread. So this, I'm not exactly sure what it's called. It's Mossy Meadow Linen Twine, I think. And we're going to use it full width, as it were. But you can undo it and pull it apart. So you can sort of pull like half of it, or even individual strands if that's what you want. So, you know, there's a lot of thread there. So just give it a bit of a twist if it's just sort of coming undone. Give it a bit of a twist and then you'll be able to feed it through the hole. There we go. There we have it. So there is your finished gem box. All done. So let me bring in this original one, tie that up, and then bring in all of the other projects so you can see them all together. So you've got the box and the TP card and the 2 cards as well. So I hope you have enjoyed January 2021 Craft Along, the Dandy Garden product suite. All of those products are in the January to June mini catalogue. So you've got a little bit longer to get hold of them if you're wanting them. The paper pack is a 6x6 pack and you get 48 sheets in it. If you've got any questions, then send me an email, amanda@inspiringinkin.com, and yeah, let me know how you've got on. And also, don't forget, if you're a raffle prize or winner, then let me know as well, and I'll get your prize in the post to you very soon. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.